How can children raised by the same parents in the exact same household become remarkably different people? They may share biology, they may share a home, yet sharing a family does not necessarily mean experiencing that family in exactly the same way. Modern developmental psychology provides useful language for understanding this distinction. Studies of twins and families, like the Minnesota study of twins reared apart, demonstrate that both genetic inheritance and environment play complex, interacting roles in human development. This diagram illustrates what researchers call shared environmental influences. These are the baseline aspects of a family that contribute to similarities among siblings, factors like living in the same household, sharing family resources, and experiencing certain major family circumstances together. But another category is equally important. When we look at non-shared environmental influences, we see the distinct experiences associated with differences between children. Siblings may have different relationships with their parents, different responsibilities, different successes, and different private losses. Even when the family experiences the same event, each member responds individually. Therefore, when someone says, "But they were all raised in the same family," the statement may be true, but it is incomplete. Sharing a family structure does not mean experiencing that family in exactly the same way. That distinction gives us an extraordinary lens through which to examine one of Scripture's most complicated households, the family of Jacob. Before the sibling rivalry, before Joseph's slavery, there was a foundational controversy. Jacob agreed to serve Laban 7 years to marry Rachel, but was deceived and given her sister Leah instead. He subsequently married Rachel as well. Leah experienced a specific psychological environment. She successfully bore children, but she lived inside an unrequited longing for her husband's affection. When her early sons were born, her words reflected a hope that Jacob would finally love her, or at least become attached to her. Rachel experienced a different form of suffering. She was deeply loved by Jacob, yet for years she could not conceive. She suffered the agony of waiting, eventually crying out, "Give me children, or else I die," before finally giving birth to Joseph. Joseph, therefore, entered this family as Rachel's long-awaited child. Scripture records that Israel loved Joseph more than all his children. The brothers saw this overt preference. They hated Joseph and could not speak peaceably to him. The father's relationship with one child poisoned the relationships among the children themselves. Joseph and his brothers were not born into a neutral environment. They were born into relationships that already had histories. Those pre-existing tensions guaranteed they would experience vastly different familial worlds. Eventually, that sibling hatred reached a boiling point. The brothers stripped Joseph of his special garment and threw him into a pit. Following a proposal by Judah, they sold their brother rather than killing him. Suddenly, Joseph's environment changed completely. The favored son became a rejected brother and a slave. He was thrust into a foreign empire, experiencing false accusation and imprisonment, before eventually rising to become a powerful ruler in Egypt. Judah's life followed an entirely diverging path. He remained in his homeland, but descended into his own complicated history. He experienced marriage, the death of his children, deep moral failure, and a harsh confrontation regarding his daughter-in-law Tamar, eventually admitting, "She hath been more righteous than I." Back in Canaan, Jacob was consumed by grief. Having already lost Rachel, he now believed Joseph was dead. In response, he held obsessively tight to Benjamin, Rachel's only remaining son, shaping yet another unique developmental world. The biological connections of this family had never vanished, but their spatial, cultural, and psychological separation meant they were now living in completely divergent realities. Years passed, then famine came. The severe, region-wide famine acted as an indifferent external force, stripping away comfort and creating desperate, absolute need. Jacob's household needed food to survive, and Egypt had food. This crisis stripped the brothers of their autonomy, forcing them to leave Canaan and travel down into the empire. There, the brothers stood before the ruler of Egypt to beg for survival. They did not recognize him, but Joseph recognized them. Decades of fractured family history were suddenly brought together in a single room. The famine did not erase their past betrayals. It did not magically heal their history. Instead, need met circumstance, creating the inescapable situation where those broken relationships became consequential again. Joseph, overseeing the food distribution, engineered a high-stakes test. He manipulated events so that Benjamin, Rachel's other beloved son, was placed in the exact same mortal danger Joseph himself had once faced. The family reached a familiar intersection. The tension was absolute. Would the brothers succumb to their old environment? Would they repeat the historical pattern and sacrifice another of Rachel's favored sons to save themselves? This time, there was a stunning reversal. Judah, the very man who once orchestrated Joseph's sale, stepped forward. Explaining what losing Benjamin would do to their father, he offered his own life and freedom to let his brother go. Hearing this, Joseph could no longer restrain himself. The victim, who now held absolute power, recognized his brother's transformation. He chose to preserve the family that had once rejected him, rather than destroy them. The man who once participated in sacrificing his brother became the man willing to sacrifice himself for his brother. Judah and Joseph prove that past behavior does not have to become a permanent destiny. Developmental science and psychology can help us describe how this family fractured and evolved, but science cannot establish what God was doing. For that, we must allow the text to provide its own theological interpretation. Joseph himself provides that interpretation in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. Speaking to his brothers, he says, "But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Notice the concept of dual intentions surrounding the same history. Joseph does not say, "What you did wasn't evil." The brothers' malice and responsibility were entirely real, but their evil did not possess final authority over God's overarching plan. God does not need to approve of human wrongdoing, nor does he erase human responsibility in order to accomplish a greater, life-saving purpose through it. Realignment does not mean hitting rewind. God did not return Jacob's family to a perfect, trauma-free past. Joseph never recovered his stolen youth, and the brothers' guilt remained a historical fact. Instead, God moved them forward from the exact place their brokenness had left them. The ultimate historical proof of this realignment is found in Leah's son, Judah. Generations later, the lineage of Jesus Christ is traced not through a flawless patriarch, but through Judah, the flawed brother who learned sacrifice. This does not make Laban's deception, Jacob's favoritism, or the brothers' cruelty righteous. God does not have to call evil good in order to bring ultimate good out of the things human beings have shattered. God can take a fallen vessel, realign it, and reach his desired outcome. God did not need an unbroken family to accomplish an unbroken purpose.